Hi, this is the first in a series of short videos explaining how to set up the BGR module to work in your toolset. First thing we're going to do is set up the SVN repository to download all of our files from our repository and synchronize them with your computer. Once done, this will look something like this, with a folder inside your BioWare Dragon Age add-ins folder that you can simply right click and hit update to get all the latest files, or hit commit to commit your files to our repository. Okay, so that's what we're aiming to do. Here's how to do it. First of all, make a new folder. Name the folder, and be careful to spell this correctly because this will be important. BGR underscore B21 underscore DEV. Once you've done that, assume you've installed Tortoise correctly, right click. Tortoise will have added an icon here to allow you to click SVN checkout. Choose that. It'll bring up a little window. You want to paste into the URL, and this should be on the web page if you're following the web page on the wiki. This address here, I'm not going to read it out, but that's what it is. To make sure you get that right, just click the ellipses, and you should have the choice of which folder. We want the live folder, and that's important. We don't want any other folder for this particular thing. If you click too far in, your folders will be set up in an awkward way, or too far back, you'll get too many folders and that won't work. So be careful to click exactly the live folder. Click OK. Make sure you've got fully recursive set up. That should be default. Everything else here I think is default. This will be where you've set up the folder, but you can check that too. Once you've done that, click OK. It'll then begin, I'll just drag this down for you, it'll begin synchronizing all this stuff. Now I don't really want to download all this stuff because I've already got all of it, so I'm going to cancel that for now. So that's what that little error message was. I'll probably just bring this a bit smaller so you can see what it looks like. It should then say, once you've done all this, and it'll take a while because at the minute it's about 400 megabytes, and I'm sure that'll only grow in time. Wait for that to download all of that, then once it's done, click OK. You should, I'm going to get rid of this folder, end up with something that looks a little bit like this. It will have a green icon on it, it's only because I renamed it, it lost that. Inside this folder will be all of these folders. If these aren't here, something's gone wrong. Make sure that your folders immediately within BGR B21 dev are core and module and assets. If you haven't got those, or if you've got different folders, then something's gone wrong. You've probably picked the wrong address. If you had the toolset open before doing this, then close the toolset and open it up again, and then go into the toolset. Okay, I'll just make these a little smaller so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, first thing to do, File, Manage Modules, click New. I haven't got any modules here, I've just made a new installation of my toolset, so you may have some other stuff here, but that's fine. In this screen, make sure you copy in these exactly as I do them, in case, basically, if you don't, you may get errors and things. So name, that's about the only one you can put in what you want. I'm going to call it BGR dev. The script, starting area and waypoint, will come back to those. String ID begin, this is quite important, this one, so type this one in exactly, 711 and then 6 zeros. So that's 711 million. Copy that into the end and last used, and change the end to 72.1 and then 6 zeros. The UID, now this must be exactly as you entered it in here, so be careful not to make any mistakes there. BGR B21 dev with underscores in between. Okay, that's all we'll be doing in this screen for now. Sorry, just remember, it does not open by default. We'll need to open that. So go into the Manage Module screen. If you closed it, you can open it up again, and open, and it should open up. This may take a little. Okay, to check that you've got those resources in there, head over to the Models tab in the Resources palette, and in B21 there should be a folder B21, and there should be stuff in it. If you've got that, then you set that up correctly. The next step is to import the database resources. These resources here are sort of behind the toolset resources. The database resources are the ones that you can edit in the toolset. So to get those in, you should have downloaded the DADB data file already. If you haven't, then get that from non-live folder and go into Tools, Builder, Builder to Builder Load, and select the most recent DADB data. You do not need to import them all, just the most recent one. Okay, for those of you that might already have old stuff on here, if any of these are unticked or have an exists in them, then you have them in either another module or you're doing an update, in which case you'll need to check them in first. But because this video tutorial is only talking about new modules, I'm not going to go through that. All of these in the import that says imports should be ticked right down to the bottom, and you must make sure to use theirs in the string IDs. This is very important. Always have use theirs selected. Click OK and it'll take a little while to process all of those. Once processed, you should get a screen that says import completed. Click OK and check your log at the end of it. You should have lots of success. Here I've got 153, but you should always have lots of success. There may be one or two that won't succeed. Check with someone else, see if they know why that might be. It might well be that that's okay. Okay, so we've got basically at this point everything in the toolset. If I go to areas, for example, you should have a B21 folder and should have this set up. So there should be things in it. A couple more things to do first. If we go into manage modules, unfortunately mine's now gone off the bottom of the screen. Sorry about that. I'm clicking on manage modules though. Should recognize this screen. We need to click on hierarchy. Let's bring that over. We need to use the single player resources as well, so ensure that that's ticked. Click OK and it'll clunk and wear away probably for a little bit. It's done now. You should have a lot of new folders in your resources. All of these will look familiar from the single player campaign. There's one final bit of setting up to do now. Go into File, Manage Modules, Properties. This will bring up the same sort of properties that we started setting this up with. We need to change the script. Now that we have this actual resource, click on the three dots. Ours can be found in B21 Global Core Scripts. Then we're selecting B21 Module Core. Starting area, again, three little dots. B21 Irenicus Dungeon 0602 Level 1. Starting waypoint, bring the drop down, have a whole bunch of different stuff. We want Start Game. Once you've done that, you should be ready to go. All that remains is to export all the resources. Because the game doesn't come with a database, it doesn't use any database stuff. You'll notice that when you installed the toolset you had a massive database to install. Toolset uses database, game uses files. So whenever you want to take anything from the toolset and try it out in the game, you always need to export everything. Well, always need to export anything you've changed anyway. But in this case, because we've got a whole new module, we need to export everything. Go to the All tab. It may take a little while to process. And then head down to B21. Right click the folder. And this is going to go off screen, so I do apologise for that. Export. And then the topmost option, which you won't be able to see, in fact I'll even bring it over a little for you. B21 export, export with dependent resources is the topmost item. Chopped off the end of that, but click that button. It'll then take a little while to process. I'll just drag this over if I can. Once that's done, I'll bring this back into view. You should check your log window for any fails. Here we have one fail, so let's see if we can find that. If it's the LST file, that's okay. That one seems to fail a lot and doesn't seem to have any problems, so if that's the one, we don't need to worry. You can identify it by, I'm looking here along the left for a little red one here. Here it is, and it's the LST file, unable to locate an exporter or resource information for object type LST. That one's okay, ignore that one, which means we are now set up and ready to go. If you boot the game up, you will find in your other campaigns section module which goes by the name that we set up in the properties here, so in this case BGR dev, and run that and you should be away.